Chapter 82, Operation Resurrection. He switched on the light in the kitchen and froze on the spot. Without being able to believe his eyes, he mumbled, "Professor Roberto." Sitting in the dark at the table, the professor and Roberto were engaged in a game of chess. Bewildered, Azer stammered, "What's happening here?" Looking at the professor, Azer said, perplexed, "I saw you, Professor, taking your last breath on the asphalt. I was there." Steadily moving a chess piece, as if nothing unusual was occurring, the professor replied, "Well, Roberto managed to bring me back to life." He added, "All living beings are mortal, their time comes unless someone intervenes." Azer gazed at Roberto and said, "I thought I could recognize you in the uniform when you got off the ambulance." Roberto replied, "Yes, it was me." Felix, the cat, noticed that they were paying less attention to him. Annoyed, he stopped purring, jumped down, and strolling walked out of the kitchen. Azer took a seat at the table, looking at the professor with determination. He asked, "Professor, could you please explain what's happening here? I saw with my own eyes that you were both dead." The professor responded, "Throughout history, humans have talked about life after death and desired eternal life. Nowadays, we're attempting to turn those old fantasies into reality." He added, "You saw those MRI images of my brain on Julius Fox's speedboat. They displayed the results of an examination conducted a few months earlier. You also heard the neurosurgeon's conclusion that my time left was limited. So, the guys in the Chaos Republic began creating a duplicate of me." Roberto chimed in, "I just had to drive the ambulance past the Chaos Republic. There, we activated the revival protocol and transferred the old professor to his new body." Azer found it all bewildering. He turned to Roberto and said, "You were torn in half during the attack on the Chaos Republic. I witnessed it myself. The whole building was ablaze." Roberto smiled and remarked, "In Berlin, nothing is as it seems to be." He continued, "The fire you saw was deliberately set to fool the heat-sensitive cameras on the drones, causing them to stop shooting. But my death, well, that occurred years ago for the first time. Since then, the revival project has brought me back numerous times." The professor directed his attention to Azer and explained, "A few years ago, Roberto moved from Gothenburg, Sweden, to Berlin to pursue his dream of becoming a painter. Due to his epilepsy, he used to visit my clinic regularly. He started a relationship with Annabella, my secretary, and eventually moved in with her. Sudden deaths among epilepsy sufferers are well documented. One morning, Annabella woke up to find Roberto dead beside her in bed. She contacted me, and we decided to involve his body in our project at the Chaos Republic." To confirm the professor's words, Roberto reached behind his head and carefully removed the hair and skin. Shocked, Azer leaned back in his chair, his eyes fixed on the robot head constructed of gleaming metal. With a kind expression in his glass eyes, Roberto added, "They gave me this new body." He went on, "Soon after they finished installing my operating system, I returned to Sweden to visit my mother. She didn't notice any difference at all." Azer skeptically remarked, "I'm sure she must have noticed something." Roberto pulled the skin back on his head and said, "Well, she kept telling me about a strange dream she had. In her dream, I was flying on my mountain bike and collided with an airplane. Both the bicycle and the airplane became a part of me." The professor elaborated, "The revival project was initially my brainchild. If we can create mechanical substitutes for the heart and kidneys, why not construct a replacement for the brain or even an entire body? That way, we could provide a solution for those facing terminal illnesses." He clarified, you've probably heard of suicide tourism. People travel to Switzerland for assisted suicide. One of my patients was terminally ill and had already booked a flight to Switzerland. He asked if I could spare him the trouble by ending his life here in Berlin. I explained to him that such an action was illegal in Germany, but I offered him the chance to participate in our secret scientific project. He was enthusiastic about the idea and was very satisfied with the outcome. He received a full body replacement.